And there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not.
Let's talk about Tiffany Gomas, the crazy plane lady, and some of the updates that have happened since my last video. Before we do that though, I want to thank everybody that came to my channel to watch that video. It's the highest performing video that we've had so early on in our channel's history. We've almost hit 3,000 views and we had 80 plus comments on that. Now, I will say that all the comments were great and there was a lot of actionable items that I could take away from that, specifically leading to this video and some of the theories behind what Tiffany may or may not have seen. So, I want to start with Tiffany being outside talking to the cops because that did come up in my previous video and I didn't play it in my previous video, so let's watch that together now.
Yeah, absolutely not. Okay. Like we get the
All right, so based off of that video, you can see that Tiffany is still pretty distraught. She's talking to her sister and she's going back and forth with the cops, but she is coherent. She does talk to the police officer and says, you know, almost kind of in a sarcastic voice. I shouldn't say almost. It is definitely a very sarcastic voice where she says, I would be ordering an Uber, but I'm talking to you or I'm recording you. Okay. I thought that was pretty interesting. I know that's not word for word, but we just watched the video together. Pretty interesting stuff. So the three things that I had asked in the previous video was, one, do you think that she staged all of this with her marketing background, her owning Uppercut Marketing LLC, her being an executive for 15 years? Was she able to stage this and be able to rebrand? Because we know that she came out a month later, her Twitter blew up, her YouTube is starting to blow up, her Instagram blew up, and she is somewhat social media famous. In that video, in the comments, it was a resounding no. Not one person out of the 80 comments came back and said, yes, I think Tiffany staged this. So we are going to get rid of that theory altogether, okay? Theory number two that I presented to you folks was she having a bad day? Was she on drugs? Was she drinking? And this one was probably 50% of the responses where people came out and said, hey, we think she had a bad day. We think she was crazy. Obviously, she calls herself crazy in her own video. We think she had a psychotic episode, or she was on drugs or some sort of substance that was altering her mindset. Now, we're going to hit on that one first. Then the third one was, did she see something? And if so, what did she see? Now, 50% of the comments did come back and say that she saw something, but nobody wants to say what she saw. But there was a lot of people that said that I needed to think a little bit deeper into this topic. So what I'm gathering from all those comments is that we think that possibly she saw either an alien or a ghost. So I'm going to focus on the alien theory, and we're going to do that on the second half of this video. And I'm going to utilize some stuff that happened recently to kind of try to prove out that theory or that case. Again, I want to hear from you folks before we do that. So before we get started, welcome back to my channel, True Crime Fans. I'm your host, Tim Solberg. Hit that subscribe button down below. Leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. What do you think the theory is? And leave a like, please. Let's get this video out to as many people as we can. I want to make this my #1 video on the channel and continue to grow, work towards that monetization. So let's jump right into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is just Tiffany having a bad day. We saw multiple different videos that basically show her before the viral video went out, after the viral video went out, both in the terminal and outside. And then we see her apology video. Now, in all of these videos, she never states what she has saw or what has her so concerned. Now, in the video that I'm going to show you here in a moment, she does come out and say that she was getting off that plane no matter what. Again, she doesn't state what she saw or what was going on in her mind. She also doesn't come out and say that she was under any kind of substances. You do see in the videos, however, that she does seem distraught. She does definitely seem scared. And when she gets out, you can tell that she is very overwhelmed with the situation. Now, anybody would be overwhelmed. Even if you take out what happened on the plane, getting off the plane, just dealing with the cops and having multiple cops and, you know, hearing that you've assaulted somebody and being asked to leave the grounds of somewhere because she was asked to leave the airport multiple times, that in itself would be overwhelming, okay? At least it would be for me. So you add all of that stuff together, you add the plane coming back, freaking out over that, getting off of the plane, being scared, pushing somebody out of the way, possibly taking assault charges. You're thinking right away, she's got to be on something. That's what I initially thought. I was thinking like possibly, maybe she was drinking or she was on drugs. Now, could that still be the case? Absolutely, it could be the case. Maybe she had one too many drinks, and maybe that's what we're going to hear when it comes out. But again, in this video that I'm going to queue up for you, we do hear that she's not allowed to talk about what she saw or heard that day and get into specifics on what was going on that plane. She does mention, however, that she is working with some charities because she's going to do a sit down at some point because the media is not going to let it go until we hear what she saw or heard. Now, we do hear about a rumor about AirPods and that she might have had an argument with a family over these AirPods. Now, in the original video, we do show that she was talking to a lawyer at some point, and the lawyer comes out and says, hey, I'm a lawyer, you better watch what you say next. Now, we don't have any context to that. We don't know why the lawyer was saying that, other than she was saying that we needed to get the plane back to the terminal. Now, I don't find anything in that video that would warrant a lawyer to come out and say that. Now, we could assume that previous to that, maybe she was having an argument with the lawyer's family over some AirPods that went missing, and maybe she was accusing somebody in that family of stealing those AirPods. We don't know that for sure because we don't see her actually say that on video, okay? But this is something that might come out in the future. Very interesting stuff and something that I wanted to point out there. Now, another theory before we get into the alien or ghost theory is that that wasn't Tiffany at all. And that did come up into the comments a few times, not quite as much as the stuff that she may or may not have seen. I would say that the more that I see Tiffany, especially on the TMZ, it does look more like her when she has her hair back and she's wearing kind of more casual clothes, or what I would call flying clothes. And I used to fly a lot for work. I would like to go in a casual uniform, so that way it was very comfortable for me to fly. It does look a lot like her, and since the video is very grainy, I'm starting to get that sound a little bit more. So I'm starting to lean towards that was her on the plane. But again, until we actually dissect the video, there is a possibility that maybe that's not her. Maybe it's some sort of AI or something that she was doing, okay? So very interesting. Another piece before we look at this video is, out of all of this, and these comments did come back, is that she never got booted off the airline. She's still able to fly today, and that flight had to come all the way back to the terminal, and she wasn't charged for anything. She wasn't charged for assault. She wasn't charged for making a scene on the plane, and that's typically not the case. So that leaves a lot of questions that are unanswered today as well. So that all being said, let's watch this video together.
Listen, I mean, I gotta ask you, how does it feel to be traveling again?
Great.
You know, in the airport again after what you went through?
A little bit of anxiety, but
Right.
It's been good. Yeah.
Are you doing anything differently, like, you know, when you're getting ready to travel, or was there any new techniques you used?
No.
No?
No.
And a lot of people are curious
Yeah.
what exactly you saw, because you know, you alluded to what you saw, but like we just want to know, like, you know, what did you see?
I mean, thanks for asking that, but I have been told I cannot comment on it right now.
I see.
I'm sorry.
Are you going to, like, you know, have a full kind of interview somewhere, or like, what's going on? What's the deal? What's the plan on?
The rate it's going, I feel like it's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
So yes, there's some things in the works, mostly nonprofit charity stuff. But I've been trying to like lay low for the most part, but reporters wouldn't let that happen. So
Yeah. Well,
like I was so much strong-armed into speaking, and now here we are.
Well, I do want to know, like, I mean, you won't say to me what you saw right now.
Yeah.
You can't.
All right, just got her too.
Yeah.
Well, but what about, like, what was the reason that you wanted to get off so bad?
again, can't speak on that right now. But
Understood.
I was distressed, and I was getting off the plane. No matter what, I just probably didn't need to make the scene that I made.
Right.
But I was getting off that plane, for sure.
Right, and you stand by that, like,
100%,
even now.
100%.
Okay, so now that we've watched that together, I want to point out again, she says things like, we're going to sit down and talk about what I saw because I'm not going to get away with this. That leads me to believe that she actually did see something. And then she also talks about how she's not allowed to talk about it, but she doesn't say why. She doesn't say if it's because of her attorneys. She doesn't say it's because there's any legal kind of troubles. She doesn't say it's because of the government. So it leaves it really wide open, which leads to all the conspiracies. So that being said, I did want to bring up the alien factor, and I'm going to start it off by putting you in the right mindset, and I'm going to show you the scariest alien clip that I've ever seen, and it comes from the movie Signs, so let's watch that together.
Year-old Romero Valadares. This video was taken yesterday afternoon at his son's 7th birthday in the city of Passo Fundo, Brazil. It was sent to the local news bureau there and sent to us via satellite just a few minutes ago. All initial opinions are this is genuine. What you're about to see may disturb you.
Move, children. Vámonos.
Está atrás de garage. Está atrás de ahí. It's behind.
Oh!
And the reason why we watched that clip together is because now we're in the right mindset to talk a little bit about aliens. Now, while this was all going down, very shortly after this viral clip, what do we see? We see the authorities and the government asking a lot about UFOs. And this clip is a little bit long, but I want to put some context in what the government was looking for and what we're hearing from one of the military members. He was an F-18 fighter, and what he talks about in UFOs. So let's watch this one together.
My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a former F-18 pilot with a decade of service in the U.S. Navy, including 2 deployments in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Inherent Resolve. I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me. Today, I would like to highlight 3 critical issues that demand our action. As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace, but they are grossly underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. The stigma attached to UAP is real and powerful and challenges national security. It silences commercial pilots who fear professional repercussions, discourages witnesses, and is only compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust. In 2014, I was an F-18 Foxtrot pilot in the Navy Fighter Attack Squadron 11, the Red Rippers, and I was stationed at NAS Oceana in Virginia Beach. After upgrades were made to our jet's radar systems, we began detecting unknown objects operating in our airspace. At first, we assumed they were radar errors, but soon we began to correlate the radar tracks with multiple onboard sensors, including infrared systems, eventually through visual ID. During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base.
All right, so the last clip I want to watch with you, and I think it's very important to add some context to this, is President Obama. Now, I did edit this out just to the times when Obama is talking, so it does come from Inside Edition. They put a lot of information in between some of the sentences that Obama's saying. I just edit it so you can see it, just what Obama's saying across the board. Or it does lead you to believe that there's more information around aliens than what we know, but let's watch this one together.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. Is that when I came into office, I asked, right? I was like, all right, is there the lab somewhere where we're keeping the alien specimens in spaceship? They did a little bit of research, and the answer was no. There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
Okay, so that being said, I didn't dive into the ghost stuff because I figured the alien stuff came up a lot more in comments, and we can always dive into ghosts later on. I want to hear from you, though. A lot of folks said that I wasn't thinking about this deep enough. I get it. What conspiracy do you think happened? What do you think happened in this case? What are we going to hear? Is it going to be something as simple as AirPods? Or did she see something on that plane that we're going to hear about? And then is that going to prompt Tom Cowling to come out and talk about what he saw on his plane? And are they going to be related and correlated? Or are they going to be two separate cases and we're going to look at this and all kind of laugh when Tiffany Gomas actually sits down? So based off all of that, if you're still here with me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We want to continue to grow the channel. At one point, I would love to make this my career. We're probably looking at 5 years out, but every subscribe helps. If you think that I could do something to improve the content, leave a comment down below. I take those very seriously, and we've been working on the channel to try to make it better for you. And like this video out if you like the content. We want to get it out to more people and continue to grow that channel. That being said, I am your host, Tim Solberg. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, and I'm over and out.